This is the Perlinwood channel. I'm tapping in again for another vibe session. And today's vibe session, we're vibing over the energy of Gemini season 2026. Can y'all freaking believe it's already June? Today's June 1st, the day I'm recording. Make sure y'all rub the cinnamon in your hand today and blow it out the front door. But make sure you clean up and do all your other stuff first. Okay. We're heavy in that learning phase right now. We are trusting and respecting the process. We're not skipping those steps. We're not doing none of that. Okay? So make sure your house is in order first. And then blow the cinnamon out of the front door to bring in new blessings and abundance. Okay. For my peeps that know, y'all know. And I wish everybody a prosperous and beautiful, abundant, healthy June 2026. The energy, I would say is we are still protecting our rebirth as we integrate it. I don't know where my mind went. We are still in this phase of creating space for rebirth, as well as protecting the newness of the self in the rebirth. So the energy of Gemini season is just carrying with that. Before I get into the cards, what other information? Gemini season is from May 20th to June 20th, 21st of every year. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury in astrology is connected to the way we think, the way we communicate, the way we transport commerce, anything like that. In medical astrology, Gemini rules, I believe, the hands and the arms and the shoulders, as well as the lungs, which I feel like is very fitting for the symbol. You know, we got two lungs, and there's the two lines. You know, and then that top line can be like our shoulder, our collarbone, and things, and then that bottom line could be our hips. So yes, I would say Gemini is heavily connected to just this whole region of the body. You know, from the hip bones up. Well, the hip bones to the collarbone to the hip bones, whichever way you want to see it. So yes, that's Gemini for you. Who are some of my favorite Geminis in the world? Waka Flocka, Soulja Boy, Fetty Wap. Who else is a Gemini though that I just may not know? Who are some of y'all's favorite Geminis? I mean, are there any personal Geminis in my life? Not that I can think of. Okay, we have Kendrick Lamar, Angelina Jolie, Tom Holland. Tom Holland's birthday is today, actually. How could I forget? Kanye West. Natalie Portman, Marilyn Monroe. Okay, girl. Jim and they are known to be that. I forgot the president. America's president's a Gemini too. I'm gonna leave it at that. Okay, this website got people I don't know. Darman. He's a Gemini. Northwest. All these TikToks and YouTube stars. Okay, I'm owed. I am owed. Charles II was a Gemini, apparently. Alanis Morissette. Alright, you guys, don't let me get too caught up in stuff like this. I like it. Wayne Brady, Clint Eastwood, Bub. Lauren Hill, okay, girl. Morgan Freeman, Josephine Baker. Not Mr. T. There's other people. I wish I knew who they were. Tim Allen, Lionel Richie, Naomi Campbell, Brooke Shields, Geronimo. Okay. Lenny Kravitz. Carl. I know I'm butchering his name, but he's famous. Carl Linnaeus. Let's see what he did, and then that'll be my last one. Taxonomist, botanist, physician, and zoologist, Swedish. He created the system for naming and classifying living things that is still used today. I knew his name looked familiar. He developed a method called binomial nomenclature, which gives each species a two-part Latin name. Period, fam. One thing the air sign's gonna do, we gonna organize some information. We gonna create a system to organize it. Because, like, look, we gonna give it a name. All right. Just to give you a little bit of taste of the Geminis, you see, there's a lot of different types of people. I named a lot of musicians, but you see, we have the scientist, and then a model. But yes, now I would say it's safe to get into the cards. I'm gonna start with the theme, as always. We got the spirit of love. Guys, y'all didn't even remind me. This is the vibe session. So, I got some nice meditation music playing in the back. This one is created specifically for this full moon that we just had yesterday, May 31st. Full blue moon in Sagittarius. And you know, the vibe session for that is coming too. It's probably just going to be extended from this one. But yes. All right, friend. I literally love sage. I love sage. I love it in food. I love it as a smudging tool. It's just great. All right. Getting that going. And then now we have some Paulo. Okay, sage. Yes, I got my window open. All right, we're going to clear out what we don't need no more. Now we're going to make space for good energy, good clear messages for us so we can navigate this Gemini season with awareness. I really enjoyed this time Apollo too. But yes, y'all, Gemini is associated with the Lover's Tarot card. And of course, it, on the surface level, does talk about lovers and, you know, just stuff like that. But it's really just about making choices from a clear, balanced heart, mind, body, soul connection. That's what it's really about. the place in which we make our choices. And like I talked about in the Pluto retrograde vibe session, there's the wave of people that are creating a life and a reality based on fear. And then there's us, the Pearl One community, and plenty other people that's growing, and the numbers growing, who's building a life and reality based on love. So the lovers being connected to Gemini is very on point. Okay, let's see what comes through. So yes, we have the spirit of love. This is kind of cool. It's like, did she like just appear like that? You see all those flakes, and you know, sometimes in movies, like people just. Anyways, the spirit of love says, don't search for true love, for it will find you if you just hold on to who you are. The world already loves your essence, so don't change it for anyone. Okay. This is the theme. And then we got butterflies over here, so definitely some transformation going on. And then we have Jurgon, Sacha. Still not 1,000% sure on the pronunciation. Could Google, probably will later. It's associated with Mars and Pluto. And as you can see, it looks kind of like the Tower card. Okay, in the Tower, you know. I mean, depending on how you look at it, it could be good or bad. It could be helpful or not helpful. But the Tower always come when there is a need for destruction, creative destruction, basically. Like, you have to clear the space for what's about to come. The key word on this is transfiguration, and the number associated with it is 22. Master number 22. It is the 22 in numerology is the master builder. And what are we building? The spirit of love. But yes, we are building a better interconnection between the masculine and the feminine. I don't really like to get into all that but essentially, we are rebuilding ourselves from the inside out. We are rebuilding our society from the inside out. So, transfiguration. Transfiguration is the process of changing something to a more beautiful, divine, holy state. So, like, literally, that's what we're going through. And now we have retrograde. As of right now, the only planet retrograde is Pluto. We'd already vibed on the Pluto retrograde, so you can definitely go check that out. Keyword to review, the number 15, which reduces down to 6. And then now we have boundaries. She looks so cute. And she has the rose on the stomach. Boundaries, number 7. It says reclaim space. Inner, outer, and energetic boundaries. All right. So, the spirit of love, transfiguration, review, boundaries. All right. So, we already got the advice. Don't search for true love. Become true love. Okay? Allow yourself to transform into a more beautiful and divine state of being, because you deserve it. There's really nothing else. I don't really got nothing else to say about that. You deserve it, and I mean, that's the direction that Earth is going. So It's imperative to stay in touch and in tune. The energy is definitely potent. The full moon in Libra and the full moon in Scorpio definitely had me. I wouldn't say this one is as intense, but I can still feel it. All right. Where to begin? So this is the theme. Let's read a bit. Too far. Dragon Sacha. Upright. Unforeseen change. Breakdown. Transfiguration. Poison transmuted. Evil neutralized. Rising from the ashes. Y'all. But then we have reversed. Crisis, destruction, black magic, bad intentions, sorcery, poison, being made humble. Because I also said, I also brought it up in the Pluto retrograde vibe session about a big, a big challenge that's going to be occurring through the Pluto retrograde window is all the destiny swapping attempts. You know, the ones that were started a long time ago and the new attempts. You know what I mean? And I mean, and depending on the way that you look at it, I mean, all the destiny swap attempts are created in the past. But we'll get there. It says guidance. Watch your back. Dragon Sacha represents radical change and breakdown. This card can mean that someone or something is harming your energy. If this applies to you, remember that the darkest of energies that bring crisis or unforeseen changes can be transmuted into benevolence. Even the strongest of poisons can be medicine. The first step is in neutralizing is recognition. The second step is removing fear and insecurity, and the third step is reconstruction of the self. Examine your life from a third person perspective. Draw upon universal forces to transmute the environment, people, or situations that are depleting your life force. Lord. So, yes, this is something that I feel like is definitely touching on the broader aspects of what it means to be in a collective or in a community, not just your immediate, but your global. And as the world continues to shift and the consciousness of Earth continues to raise, people will realize we are also galactic citizens. But again, I'm gonna let them tell y'all. Um, as far as predictions and stuff go, I've never put a lot of energy in it. I use these tools as more of a, I just want to stay clear enough to where I can receive instructions whenever is necessary, guidance, warnings, instructions, whatever. I use these tools to be clear in who I am at my core. I don't really use it to predict, but I mean, I wouldn't care to. I mean, obviously, the world is definitely um, pushing the narratives and the stories and the newsreels and the think pieces, definitely attacking our structure energy centers. So the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus. Just those foundational energy centers are constantly being flooded, constantly being manipulated. So how would that show up? I mean, we did get Mars and Pluto. I definitely know Pluto's going to be in the same sign for all of Gemini season, and I'm pretty sure Mars will be in Taurus for the whole of Gemini season. So, Taurus and Pluto. Those are technically square planets. I mean, but based on the degrees, I don't think there's like a strong square between them. But yes, that's what I would say, as well as the spirit of love, as far as things, all that rhetoric at 2020. Um, so, like, what are they saying? False twin flames and all that stuff. And what are they called? Succubus and incubus and all those things. They'll try to show that, like, if you're seeking outside of yourself, those types of energies, like the Jezebel types, the Leviathans and things, the warlocks, the witches, you know, they can feed off um your desperation, because that's basically what it is when you are seeking something outside of yourself that you already have. People will play on that because it's an energy vibration that you can feel. Like, overly seeking is something that you can sense. So these people that know how to manipulate energy and have their ways, I feel like that's a safe enough prediction to make. Just all the warfares are gonna ramp up even more than they are. I'm just really thinking about this card. Okay, but all these things, regardless of what you're experiencing, because I mean it's the Pearl and Wood Collective, so I would say most of us have some type of foundational awareness of what's going on. So I would say this is more of probably like a training ground, but nonetheless, we're all in different phases. So I say that to say, again, it's not to be afraid, like it said in the card. There's no reason to be afraid. You have to recognize it, and then you have to acknowledge your fear, but don't act from it. And then you build after, because like once you see something, you can't unsee it. So it's just kind of that thing. We're gonna get in that space where it's easier for us to see the manipulative tactics of all types, from the macro to the micro level, macro level manipulations, micro level manipulations, and everything in between. That's why it's important for us to reevaluate and review who, what, when, where, why, and how of everything in our life. And that's why we got boundaries. It's important to create protective measures, not out of fear, but just out of, it makes sense. Like the same reason you keep a gate around your house. Like, hey, it's my stuff. I know parts of it around it are public and accessible, but 2323, what's inside the gate, don't touch it. That's really why it's important to do that. We have to, it's not wrong to protect yourself from manipulation. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong with choosing to take up space in the same space that you have chosen to not take up space. Like there's nothing wrong with just changing. Because I feel like that's the other side of this. Like, it's just going to be a change. People are just going to have to deal with it. Like, look, y'all just going to have to deal with it. Or don't. But yes, it is Gemini season. The theme of Gemini season is Mercury is very mental. So mental warfare. Gemini season is about protecting the mind so it can stay connected to the heart, and vice versa. And what numbers do we have? We have 22, which is 4, 15, which is 6, and then 7. I did take notes. 777 is one of the number sequences that is, I would say, a nice code. So we are being given plenty of opportunities to practice alchemy and alchemizing situations so as to not have to become hurt by them. So yes, the spirit of love. We're going to think loving thoughts. We're going to speak loving words to ourselves and those we love. I guess I can go ahead and read retrograde just to even it out. Retrograde gets a bad rep, especially Mercury retrograde, but the retrograde cycle is truly a helpful and necessary time. It's nothing to worry about, just something to work with. A planet is in retrograde when it appears to reverse the direction of its journey across the sky from our perspective here on Earth. As that planet revisits its path, you get to review your life. Action. Stop the normal patterns of your life and take a break. The roots of this issue are found in the past. Reconsider, revise, repair, and edit. Dig in a drawer to find an old idea to bring forth and rework it. Reconnect with old friends and previous contacts. Address some unfinished personal business. Look again and find lost items and missing information. A delay may be a saving grace in this situation, so check equipment, read the fine print, and make sure that everyone is on the same page and it is safe to move forward. This is an opportunity for a do-over. You don't need to get stuck in the past. If an old problem rears its head, rather than reinscribing dysfunctional patterns, take a different approach. Before you re-engage an old relationship, inventory your heart. Consider what needs to be different this time to make it work. Broach new territory together. If you feel called, put regular work aside and attend to a side agenda, a sole important short-term project that urgently needs every bit of wisdom you've garnered. Challenge is not a time, tempting though it may be, to reminisce, pick at old scars, or revisit a painful situation from your past just because you want the emotional charge of anger or the excuse to wallow in memories of betrayals and regrets. You've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and don't need to do it again. Well then, at 27:17, punked me. Gift, take a deep breath. This is a moment out of the ordinary flow, an opportunity to use what you've worked so hard to learn. Use your accumulated skills, knowledge, and maturity. Slow, steady, and thoughtful will win this race. Okay. But yes, when you are rebuilding the self from the inside out, the slow and steady process is definitely the way to go. And now let's get into the nitty and the gritty, the meat and the potatoes of